And we're back. Let's get into the Sunday preview game. But before we start, we had a nice little guest right here. You may
Yes,
know him
sir.
from Lers Picks. He went 1-5 last week, but he's back for some vengeance. He's also going to go through the Sunday preview with us and give us some picks. It's Tyler Tightno.
Lur.
Hey guys, how are we doing? I'm coming back from another dominant performance, and I hopefully can bring out a better performance this week. We'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
hopefully. Let's get right into the games. We got Baltimore and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are headed to Baltimore. The Baltimore's got two new mascots. Don't know if you guys saw that. Edgar and Allen are back with Poe on the sideline. The Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite at home. Injury report, not a ton of stuff that's big. Now, Marlon Humphrey is questionable. I will say that, but they might get Marcus Peters back. So we'll see how that works. We're seeing Tyreek Hill in Baltimore for the first time. He got shut down a little bit last year against the Ravens. I'm on Baltimore here, obviously. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm on Baltimore as well. I mean, I liked what the Dolphins did against New England week one because I was against them. I didn't expect that offense to move as fluent like as well as it did. So I'm still on Baltimore here. I think Baltimore's just an overall better team. Hopefully Humphreys does play because I know that would help a lot against Tyreek Hill. But I'm on Baltimore, and I also hope J.K. Dobbins plays. It would be really nice to see kind of what he can do. Obviously, he probably won't get a full workload, but it would still be nice to see him out on the field and just kind of continue to get better. So I'm on Baltimore here, taking the points.
I feel like more times than not, I would probably be on Baltimore too. I just have this weird feeling that I think there's going to be a couple broken coverages where Tyreek Hill is just going to go down the line a little bit, make something happen, create some buzz. And we know Tua is probably the best lefty quarterback in the NFL. So that alone is a big reason why I think the Dolphins, and just I like more times than not, nine times out of 10, I would pick the Ravens. But I think going off the big performance they had against a divisional opponent against the Patriots, I think they're going to carry that momentum. And I feel like everyone's big on the Ravens because obviously they're playing at MTNT Bank Stadium. Hopefully I said that right, but
It was a little choppy.
You said it, but
I said it like MTNT. But I just feel like everything's going the Ravens' way. That's why I'm going with the Dolphins. So
Well, I'm going to challenge you right here
fair
because
enough.
I'm saying Tyreek Hill scores less than Jalen Waddle this week. I
Oh
got
yeah,
a
that's on the
board bet.
board, baby.
Jalen Waddle has a bigger fantasy output than Tyreek Hill. I don't think they're going to have a lot of huge plays. You know why? Because go back and look at the numbers. They scored what? One offensive touchdown. They had a defensive one. They did not move the ball as well as people think they did against New England. So I'm going against that, obviously. Let's go to the next matchup. We got the Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions.
Yes, sir.
Washington is 1-0. Detroit 0-1. This is in Detroit. Detroit having a second straight home game as they did lose. We know Brian Robinson's still out. DeAndre Swift is questionable. And those are the big fantasy things. Right now, as we speak, Detroit is -1. And guess what? I'm taking Detroit laying the
Just
points.
crazy.
I love my Lions.
So look, we talked about a lot of these players on our start and sits of the week, so we don't have to get into the fantasy like part of this game too much. But I mean, I think Carson Wentz is also a viable streamer if needed. If you have somebody like Dak Prescott that got hurt, I think Carson Wentz could definitely be plugged in here. And dude, I'm taking the Commanders at +1. Like we're on the road against the Detroit Lions. I know that we're the Washington Commanders to the outsiders, but like when you're a Commanders fan, those are the Detroit Lions. So like I'm taking the Commanders.
And not only that, I love when the Commanders, like in my opinion, I thought this week they're going to be favorited. I actually love the fact that they're the quote unquote underdogs in this matchup because I feel like the Commanders always play better when there's no expectations. And I feel like from the outside looking in, everyone else thinks that, oh, the Commanders are just going to have another year. They're probably going to go like, they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars week one. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm saying BS. I think Carson Wentz
BS, buddy.
I think Carson Wentz, he had some very great dimes he threw last week. Obviously, he did have two drives in a row where he basically just gave the ball away. Like there was a broken screenplay and he just decided just to throw it right to Trayvon Walker. And I think those will come with Carson Wentz because he's similar to Brett Favre. He likes to go for the big plays. He likes to make something happen. But I feel like more times than not, I feel like as the season progresses, he's going to mitigate those. And I just feel like the versatility we have on offense with Scary Terry. I love the way they use Curtis Samuel. I love Logan Thomas. And I just love the Commanders in general. So I'm just going straight up. Commanders are going to win outright. No problem. We're going to worry about – we're going to Philly next week. That's the thing.
Sounds like a Commanders fan. Let's go to the next matchup.
Exactly.
We got the New York Jets will be going to Cleveland. The Jets are on 1. The Browns are 1-0 after that tight win against Carolina. Right now, we have the line at -6.5. Cleveland is at home. Fantasy wise, not a ton. Still no Zach Wilson. We got a CJ Uzama. If you're streaming a tight end, is questionable. Conklin and Hubbard, both tackles, are Hubbard's out. Conklin is questionable. I like the Jets. I think the Jets +6.5. That Cleveland team did not do anything. Now they're going to run the football, but I think the Jets can. If the Jets can stop the run and say Jacoby Brissett's got to beat us by 7, I don't think that's happening. So I like the Jets here to cover, not to win, but I like the Jets +6.5.
So I definitely like where you're thinking, like if the Jets can lock down the running game, but I don't think that that's going to be able to happen. I don't see the passing game being anything with Jacoby Brissett again with the Browns, but Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, dude, people, I mean, you'd think that you'd be able to stop them, but I mean, Carolina couldn't. And I think Carolina had a pretty good defense this past year.
Carolina doesn't have big old Bob Salah.
Yeah, I know. And I know that the Jets obviously put some first round capital into that defense this past draft as well. But I mean, I honestly think this is going to be a great game for Nick Chubb. I think when it's a game that you should be on the positive side of it, that Nick Chubb is usually the guy that gets it done. And when they're on the negative side of it, usually it's a Kareem Hunt game. So I think Nick Chubb's a smash play this week, and I'm going to take the Browns here.
And I just concur with Joey. I think I'm somewhere on that pace. I think Jacoby Brissett, like he's not going to like wow you with the scoreboard. He went 18 of 34, but I think the Browns know who they are. They're going to run the ball. They're going to do their thing. And I think just by pounding and grounding, they're going to win. I don't know. I think it might be a little close. I don't know if they're going to cover, but I got the Browns just winning outright.
Gotcha. So me and Lur on that together.
Let's go to New Orleans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady visit the Saints in a battle for early first place of the NFC South. Both teams 1-0. Tom Brady has never beat the Saints since he's been a Buck in a regular season game. Now, he retired Drew Brees in the playoffs, but they have not beat them in the regular season in 4 tries. Chris Godwin is questionable. I would think he's not playing. The whole wide receiver room is questionable. Let me read you this: questionable. Godwin, Jones, Evans, Perryman, Gage. Those are 5 wide receivers. You got to think some of them play. Mark Ingram, Winston are questionable. Those 2 will play. Kamara's questionable. He'll probably play. But the line right now have the Saints +2.5 at home. You know, I was thinking about this, and a lot of people like to say the Saints here. I'm taking the Buccaneers. I know they didn't look great, but if he gets a couple of his wide receivers, there's nothing about the Saints team that, I mean, talk about 100-yard rushers. Cordero Patterson ran all over them last week. So I just don't see it with the Saints team. I think Winston will throw a pick or 2. I know they've tried to calm him down. He's not the 30-30 man he used to be, but I think he turns it over. The Buccaneers didn't give up a touchdown. The only team that didn't give up a touchdown in week 1 were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I take the Buccaneers -2.5 on the road.
Tony, I think what you're forgetting is that 30 for 30 or 30-30 man, Jameis Winston, was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. This is a revenge game for Jameis Crablegs Winston. And I mean, I got the Saints +2.5 here. Who knows if obviously, like we mentioned, like Atlanta was able to move the ball in this New Orleans defense, but New Orleans knows how to play against Tampa Bay, and especially a Tampa Bay or a Tom Brady led Tampa Bay. I'm taking the Saints here. They've never not gotten it done against the Bucs, and Jameis Winston may throw for 18 touchdowns and 16 interceptions in this game.
That's too good. I think I'm going with Joey. I feel like I'm just jumping on what Joey's saying. Like we've had similar picks, but I like this. I like the Saints just because I feel like they do a great job putting pressure on Tom Brady. Every time they matched up against him, I feel like they've put up 4 or 5 sacks consistently. And I feel like that's going to come back to bite Tom Brady. He's going to feel a little flustered, and it's going to make him cause a couple bad plays. I also like the way that Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas looked at the second half of the game last week. And I just love when New Orleans plays at home. They have a good fan base. I'm going with New Orleans covering.
Let's take the NFC South. The 0-1 Panthers visit the 1-0 New York Giants. Giants look fine, the Panthers look fine on the injury report. Giants wise, Tony's questionable, and fantasy wise, that's about it. Wan'Dale Robinson will probably not play. Giants are -2. I'll take the Panthers +2 on the road. I think they got to get McCaffrey more involved here. I just think the Giants had a nice week 1, but I just don't think it holds up this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me to go off with take the New York Giants as a favorite, because that's strange to do. I know the G-men are back. The football Giants are back, but I'm going with the Panthers +2 here as well. This is a CMC versus Saquon Barkley. And when given the opportunity, I think I lean CMC in that matchup. But I'm just going to go Panthers +2.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't spend too much time looking at this game. There's nothing a whole lot sexy from the quarterback perspective. It's Baker Mayfield versus Daniel Jones. I don't think a whole lot of action is going to be happening. The only action, like Joey was saying, would be from the running game. And I'm just going to this is going to be a flip of the coin. I'm just flipping with the Giants because they're at home. I'm just going with the Giants because they're at home. They had a good week one. They had a lot of momentum with the new coach. So I'm just going to go with the Giants.
All right, let's go. The 0-1 Patriots visit the 1-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. As of right now, the Steelers are +2 at home. Injury-wise, we know Ty Montgomery is gone. Mac Jones is questionable, although I think he plays. And there's no TJ Watt for Pittsburgh. Fantasy-wise, this game stinks. I don't really look forward to this game. Fantasy-wise at all, not a lot to look at. Maybe the Pittsburgh wide receivers, Deontay Johnson. Oh, boy. I get Pittsburgh played. They surprised me last week. Give me Pittsburgh +2 at home. I think they can cover there.
Agreed. I'm on Pittsburgh here, and I actually think Pittsburgh will probably win this game, which is weird to see Mitchell Trubisky led 2-0 Steelers and Mac Jones 0-2 Patriots. I don't know if I've personally ever seen an 0-2 Patriots team in my entire life, but that's what I'm betting on here. I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think I'm just still mentally every time I look at the Patriots, I think of like what they were in the past. And so now I'm starting to get a little more acclimated that they're not the team of the past. Mac Jones also got a little bit banged up last week. So I agree with you. Although TJ Watt's going to be a big issue being gone, I think the defense is still going to hold up. They still got a good core regardless. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh also.
AFC South, the winless division, the 0-1 Indianapolis Colts go to the 0-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville right now +3 at home. Injury report: Jacksonville's clean. On the Colts side, some big names on here. Shaquille Leonard, my name is not Darius, is out. Pittman questionable. Starting corner Kenny Moore questionable. Alec Pierce, I guess, could be one of the second wide receivers if they even have it to, is also out. Man, it's tough for me to go against the Colts, especially with a tie, -3 on the road. But I think they can do it. I think it'll be a close game, but I think late they can pull away with Taylor running the football. Give me the Colts -3.
Look, we saw something very similar to this last year with the Colts. It was super weird. They lost week 1 to Jacksonville. They played Jacksonville week 1. They lost to them. That was the only game Jacksonville won the entire year. Obviously, I know this is a new year, but sometimes things like that just get repeated. I think the Indianapolis Colts, for some reason, are not a good week 1 team. I think they'll bounce back. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, and a much better defense than the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I think as a whole, they're a better team. I think it's Indianapolis probably by double digits.
And I agree. I feel like there's some teams last week that had what I would call a hiccup week for week 1, being Denver, Indianapolis being one of them, and Green Bay Packers. I feel like they're going to resettle in. They can't win just because of their name. And I think now that Matt Ryan is under the wing for week 1, everyone's got their little rust off. I think they're just going to go bounce into week 2, doing what they were supposed to do week 1 and just take care of business.
0-1 Falcons visit the 0-1 defending champion LA Rams. Deion Jones, Damian Williams, not going to be there for the Falcons. Nothing really huge. No Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson is questionable, but fantasy-wise here, you're looking for the big day for Cooper Kupp. A huge line here. Rams are 10-point favorites at home. -10. Ooh, I don't know if I want to touch that. I'll just take the Rams in a money line. Thank you very much.
So I don't really want to have to take 10 either. Obviously, I'm on the Rams here, but a 10-point spread is a lot. Things I'm looking at in this game as well. I want to highlight Allen Robinson. I'm hoping that Allen Robinson can kind of step up. Even though I'm playing against him, I just want to see it for the league. You know, Cooper Kupp needs that wide receiver too for some sort of stability and help within the offense. And I'm also looking at Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, wondering if that split will continue as it did week 1 or change at all. I'm hoping Darrell Henderson continues to be the lead back there. And yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams with the 10 here. I mean, I don't really want to, but that's my pick.
Hands down, the Rams are just a better team than the Atlanta Falcons. I think two things. The one thing I'm worried about by the Rams, I think they're going to win regardless. I just don't think it's going to be by the point spread. So if we win spreads, I would take Atlanta. Rams are going to win. The only thing is that Matthew Stafford, I still am like pessimistic about how he's feeling with his arm. I know he's still recovering with that. And then I also think on the flip side, Atlanta, I feel like they're going to be playing a little tight for the next couple of weeks because everyone's going to be talking about them having a lead and then eventually going to be blowing it. So I feel like they're going to play a little too tight. So they're not going to be on their game mentally. And I just think the Rams are going to win. I don't know if it's going to be by 10, but they're going to win regardless.
Shout out my little Cooper Kupp. I love you.
NFC West, let's stick with it. The 1-0 Seattle Seahawks travel to San Francisco to play the 0-1 49ers. Injury-wise, Seahawks, they're going to get back Kenneth Walker for his debut, but they're without the best in the nation, Jamal Adams. He's done for the year. On the 49ers side, there's no Eli Mitchell. And George Kittle, questionable. I really doubt he plays. The line is big, 8.5 for the 49ers. We get to see, is Trey Lance going to step up and be a player? Because there's no excuse now. I think the weather should be fine. You're not playing in a swimming pool in Chicago. I'm going to take the Seahawks, though, plus 8.5. That's a little much.
Yeah.
I think the 49ers win, but Seahawks cover.
I mean, this line itself is kind of tricky to me. I feel like it's like so obvious the Seahawks that like the 49ers might just roll them somehow, but I can't get myself to commit to that. I'm on the Seahawks here. I hope Rashad Penny doesn't get a whole lot of work taken out with Ken Walker. I mean, there's never been a rookie running back to really step up and be the guy in Seattle before. And Rashad Penny, when he gets the ball, he looks good. So I hope that continues, as well as seeing if Geno can kind of continue his good performance that he put on against Denver. And obviously we're going to look out for Trey Lance and that offense as a whole to see if he can lead the Niners, but I'm going to take the Seahawks plus 8.5 here.
I think this is so funny because this week I've talked to 5 other people in the fantasy league and everyone's going with the Seahawks covering the spread. I feel like I love the story about Geno. Don't write him off. God, do not write him off.
He's not going to write back.
Because he ain't writing. He's not going to write back. And I think I'm more on the stance of it's an 8.5 point spread. And I just don't trust Trey Lance. He hasn't shown me anything that he can play consistently or create a big lead or just has the dominance of being an NFL quarterback yet. So because of that, I'm just going to go with the Seahawks covering the spread. And that's it.
All right. Well, we got the 0-1 Bengals traveling to Jerry's World for the 0-1 Cowboys. Hopefully someone gets a win. Injury report, T. Higgins is questionable. He did return today for practice. He was gone yesterday for a non-football thing, so I'm thinking T. Higgins is playing this week. Michael Gallup is out. Dak Prescott out. The spread is +7. The Cowboys are at home. Oof. I mean, they got to run the football to be successful. Cooper Rush is not leading you there. And if the Bengals can lock in on that, I just don't see the juice for Zeke, especially with that stupid helmet. I mean, that shouldn't matter, but God, I see that helmet. Visor. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has the same dumb helmet. I'm going to take the Bengals -7. I think they can do it. They showed when they were right. They were explosive. They scored when they needed to at Pittsburgh. It was a couple kicks that is the reason they're 0-1. I'd stick with the Bengals -7 in Dallas.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I want to start every Bengal in this game, and I want to bench every Dallas Cowboys player fantasy-wise in this game. I'm on the Bengals, and it's just for obvious reasons, considering Cooper Rush is going to have about 5 days to prepare to play. I mean, I know they were in the Super Bowl. They didn't win the Super Bowl, but a second-place runner-up in the league, Cooper Rush is going to have to go up against that team. And I know that they didn't look great against Pittsburgh, but Joe Burrow, even with 4 interceptions, I think. Did he have 4 interceptions?
He had 4 interceptions.
Even with that, he was able to keep his team in the game against Pittsburgh. I think the Bengals rout the Cowboys.
And absolutely, you just hit the nail right on the head. Joe Burrow played a tougher defense last week against the Steelers, and they were able to still become a kick away from winning the game. They're playing a terrible Dallas team, in my opinion, this week with everyone out. So it's just a rout.
Let's go to Denver. It's the home debut of Russell Wilson after the homecoming where he went to Seattle. And that
let's ride.
That's what the stadium looked like.
0-1 Houston Texans head to Denver to face the 0-1 Denver Broncos. Injury-wise, Houston's not a lot of big stuff. Their center's out. But for Denver, Justin Simmons is the biggest impact player. He is on IR. Their safety, big line. +10 is Houston going to Denver. It's interesting because I still think the book is out on what's going to be this Denver offense. Are they going to run the ball more? Are they going to get their wide receivers involved more? I know they both ended up with 7 targets, but they really hyper focused on the tight ends. I'm gonna say Houston covers here. +10 is big, and Houston is not terrible. They're not a dumpster fire. They were able to tie. They should have beaten Indianapolis in week 1. They blew it. So I'll take Houston +10 in Denver.
Yeah, I can't fault you for taking that, but here's how I'm looking at this. I think this Denver offense didn't play together as a whole unit a snap in the preseason. And I think that showed a lot against Seattle. I mean, it was just unlucky like scheduling for Russell Wilson to have to go against Seattle and like not have any of that preseason reps that I think he needs. Those mental reps that he's doing in his head out there, all for the cameras. Like, I don't really know how much that's doing.
You mean when he runs out and he practices giving high fives?
Yeah, I mean, he's practicing giving high fives to nobody while the 12th man is up in the stands booing his ass off. I mean, I think Denver bounces back here. I think this is an easy win for Denver. I mean, obviously that's not a hot take, but I think I would even take them with the 10 here because I think that week 1 they lost. Don't get me wrong, it counts, but I think that was their preseason. Now this offense who has so many great players is going to like deliver a win. But Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks, hopefully will still be good for fantasy.
Testoni, I agree with you. I don't know about the offense for the Broncos, but the one thing I do know is that I believe more in the Broncos defense holding Texans to very small points within 10. I don't know what the Texans are going to be moving the ball a whole lot down the field. I think the Broncos are going to put up like 24 points. It's going to be a 24-7 game. It's just going to be a very like boring game to watch, but the defense is going to carry the team for Denver. And Russell Wilson, he's going to be given great field position because of that defense, and then just be spot up to make a couple passes to his receivers like Judy. It'll be a win.
I think it's a huge day for Javonte Williams. Moving on, Arizona, the 0-1 Cardinals go to the 0-1 Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas. That's right, in the Death Star. I've been there. It's a nice place. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Gets pretty loud. Injury-wise, not a lot to talk about. There's no J.J. Watt, or he's questionable. I don't think he's playing. No Rondale Moore. No Indian Isabella, wide receiver-wise. Right now, -5.5. Interesting line. Vegas is favored. Man, this is tough. How about this? I'll take the under on 51.5.
There you go. You don't like the number? Go ahead and take something else. I'm on the Raiders here. I don't love it because that is a weird number, and both of these teams are kind of weird to me. Like one of them is going to go 0-2, and that's very surprising to see that one of these teams is going to be 0-2.
Agreed.
I think just based upon how I saw them play, I think that the Raiders showed more potential. Like that there was a little bit that seemed a little off balance with their offense, but I just thought that Arizona couldn't move the ball. So that's where I'm kind of going here. Las Vegas, was able to at least move the ball. They weren't able to finish, and I think Derek Carr was a little rusty, but I think that those sort of things are going to clean up, and I think that the Raiders will be able to take Arizona here. So I'm going to go with the Raiders.
I think the Raiders are going to cover. The one thing I'd like to see Derek Carr do a little more is facilitate the ball to his other receivers a little bit more. I feel like Devontae, just because, everyone was hoping for them to see them on the field for the first time. He got a lot of the touches. I just feel like Darren Waller is such a great tight end to not be given more than 10 pass attempts per game. And Hunter Renfrow is a third down. He beats teams by paper cuts, man, converting on third downs all the time. I feel like with that many weapons, spread the wealth a little bit more, and I think the offense is going to do even better than what they did last week.
Let's go to Lambeau. Sunday Night Football. The 1-0 Chicago Bears take on the 0-1 Green Bay Packers. This is a huge line, especially if you watched how bad that Green Bay offense was. Here's the thing. It's Green Bay's -10. I'm gonna put out here. It's a little stipulation. Allen Lazard's questionable. If Allen Lazard plays, put me down for Green Bay -10. If Allen Lazard does not play, put me down for Chicago +10. That's what's swinging it for me right here. If Allen Lazard plays, I think it's a different game because it's one more guy he's confident in, and everyone else on that receiving core drops down one tier, which helps out Green Bay. But that's my pick. If Lazard plays, give me Green Bay. If not, give me Chicago.
Look, Justin Fields, it was fun while it lasted. We had a great time week 1. Me and you, buddy.
It was a board bet.
It was a board bet. We're 1-0. It was a great time. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers just owns the Chicago Bears, and there's no other way to put it. I do see better days for Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet, especially in this game. I think better days for
sign me up for Cole Kmet this game.
Yeah, I think there's better days for the Packers as a whole. I mean, this is another team just like the Colts that just laid an egg week 1 and ended up finding themselves in the NFC Championship game. So, or no, I take that back. They lost to the 49ers right before the NFC Championship game, I believe. regardless, I think the Packers are gonna win with ease here against the Bears. I think that the Bears, obviously, they were in a crazy weather game against the 49ers, but regardless, their offense doesn't look any different from the past, and I think that the Green Bay Packers are going to win with ease here.
So my mom is a diehard Green Bay fan, and for that reason and that reason only, I am fading the Green Bay Packers, going with the Bears to cover the spread. I know the Green Bay Packers laid. I know the Green Bay Packers laid an egg last week. I think they're going to win the game. I just don't think it's going to be a total 180. They're going to do. They were poop week 1 and they're going to be amazing week 2. I think it's going to be a little bit baby steps. And I think Justin Fields is going to do a little bit because I think the whole Bears community is relying on him to finally snap this reign of terror for Aaron Rodgers in the city of Chicago. Yeah,
Still
he owns them.
Bear down.
I hope you're right though. I hope Justin Fields is that kind of guy in fantasy this year, because I really do want to see it. I want to see the Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, wide receiver 2 status and top 10 tight end status for Cole Kmet. So I hope you're right.
All right, then that is Sunday. There are 2 Monday night games this week. We have the 0-1 Titans at the 1-0 Bills. Long layoff for the Bills since that opener on Thursday. And then the 1-0 Vikings against the 1-0 Eagles. That's a big fantasy matchup. A lot of names in that. We're going to go over that more on Tuesday, so not really worried about that. Let's get into Lers Picks for the fantasy matchups. Last week, Lur, you went 1-5 in your picks.
Yeah, I think you picked Testoni over me, if I'm not mistaken there, Lur.
Yes, this is all true. These are all true statements. But let's just say there's better days ahead of us. They are better days.
Now, Lur, will you be doing this from before last night? Are you taking that into account, or are you doing this as of the standings right now?
So that was one thing when I was looking at the games, I'm definitely, all my picks are accounting for what has happened on Thursday night. So
that's fine. That's fine. You take the lines at what you get them.
As long as we know, we just all need to be on the same page. That's good.
I'll set you up, Lur. You go ahead and give me it. So right now, the Soup and Sammy's, this is the only one that stayed the same, I believe. Soup and Sammy's against me, the Macho Man Randy Savages. I am plus 5.8. We are the only 2 teams or only matchup that didn't have anyone on Thursday night. So go ahead, go into it.
So the one thing I find super interesting, not only I just love the fact that Jalen Hurts, your quarterbacks are literally playing against each other this Monday night. I love Jalen Hurts. I love Kirk Cousins for different reasons. I think Kirk Cousins wants to prove that he can put up as many points every single week. And with Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook spreading the ball, that is going to be a guarantee. I think Jalen Hurts is also good because he has his new toy, A.J. Brown. They had a really good connection that first week. And the potential run game for him is also always to be sought for. Alvin Kamara, did you say, Testoni, that he was going to be injured what is the status about the game time?
I believe he's going to play, but he has been dealing with a rib injury. Are you talking about this Kirk Cousins, by the way, who wore this shirt to the presser?
He's electric. Let me just say that just reinforces why I love Kirk Cousins. You haven't got
a chance to go look at his post-game presser and what he's wearing.
Hey, I like that. Like that. And then the one thing I was going to say for the tight end, what Joey was saying about benching any Dallas players, with Cooper Rush being on the helm, I don't know if that's going to impact Dalton Schultz's performance. And honestly, the final straw that really made me want to go with Soup, that's who I'm picking this week, is because Brandon McManus, I don't know if I trust him anymore. He couldn't convert a 64-yard field goal. I think because of that reason alone, that's going to bring down the whole team. I'm going to go with Soup winning the game. And
he's covering, huh? Are you picking him as a line, or is he covering?
I'm going to pick, what did you say it was 5 points?
5.8.
Yes, I will say cover.
Next matchup, Papa Kamish, Andy versus Bryce, the Squeegee Boys. Right now, Bryce is favored by 7.5 points.
And this one is really quick and easy. This pick is biased based on the Thursday night football game. I think Andy's going to win because who dropped an egg yesterday? It was what was his name?
Juju.
Juju Smith. Since Juju didn't have a great game at all, and Patrick Mahomes, I don't know how many points he had exactly. How many was it?
Hold on.
18.3.
So I don't think it was a dominant performance. I think Carson Wentz is going to go and just sling that ball down this weekend. I'm going to go with Andy, Papa Kamish.
Plus 7.5.
Just winning. Just winning.
Hooked on a Thielen, Jake Wills is 11 and a little over 11.5 point favorites against Spanner, the warmest cuck Colts.
My pick this week for that matchup, I'm going with the warmest cuckolds. I'm a big believer in Josh Allen, similar to Kirk Cousins. Josh Allen wants to leave a PPR impact every damn week. So for that reason alone, I think he's going to have he's going to overpower Lamar's performance. I think Lamar's going to do great, but I think Josh Allen, he's just going to set the tone for the team. However, I do like Freiermuth from Pittsburgh. However, despite my confidence on Hooked on the Thielen's Freiermuth, I really like Scary Terry, Michael Thomas, and even Micah Parsons. I think that guy is just a cheat code, and he puts up numbers. Like, it's crazy because he's a defender, but he puts up big numbers.
Yeah, he does. Not second place victory lap. Andrew Atkins is +4 against Milk with Bry. The team had the most points scored week 1. That is Jackson and Brian Brooks.
So I'm looking at the matchup. How many players played in last night's performance for Thursday night?
Let me pull that up real quick for you. Nobody played for Atkins. And Jackson had Clyde Edwards-Helaire put up 15.8 and Derwin James put up 9. He's got 24.8 currently.
I think this one, I like Justin Jefferson. Every time I see his name, I just gravitate towards that team just because I think he's going to do what Cooper Kupp did last year and just put up absurd numbers. He's going to count for 2 players for every week on the roster for a fantasy football team. Kyler Murray, I think he's going to use his legs a little bit more and start throwing the ball a little bit better. I think they're going to create some type of buzz, and I like AJ Brown a lot for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think I'm going to go with Milk with Bry.
This one's basically a pick 'em. Your brother, now let's just put it out there. Your brother, Derek Titan, 34 Dainty Ducks is plus 0.8. So just call it a pick 'em against Barely Legal Teens, Diego Grijalva.
Well, this one is completely bias picked. I am actually now a co manager of the 34 Dainty Ducks. So for that reason alone, I'm going to go with my team. If you want some reasonings, I'm going to say, man, I really like Tom Brady. I really like Zeke Elliott. I love everyone on that team.
That's unbelievable. That's a terrible pick. And finally, Sam Smith, celiac attack is -4.5 against Joseph Briner, the man sitting right here with you.
I don't know if Russell Wilson is a fraud or not. I don't know if I love Justin. I think because of that, Justin Herbert, he had a pretty good performance yesterday, even on a broken rib. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a better game than he did last week. Same with Saquon Barkley. I think those running games are really going to carry the wide receivers for the celiac attack, and for that reason, I'm going to go with the celiac attack, Sam Smith.
That's
Joey,
okay.
I'm going.
You didn't believe in me week 1 either. That's okay.
I was going to say last time I didn't pick you, it worked out well for you.
Hosts.
He doesn't know about Mount Gerald Everett in my tight end position, getting 13.1 on Thursday.
Hey, based on last week, you guys know I just spit the truth. 1 and 5.
That's all right, Lair. That'll be the last time you ever come on the podcast.
And
Thanks
that'll be
for joining us.
And that was Lur, and the last time you'll ever hear from him. Joe, we don't have a lot of time left. You got anything?
Let's plug a little Twitter here at EastSideFF. We got our Twitter account. I'd love if you'd follow us over there, as well as Apple Podcasts and YouTube. We have where we post this podcast at Eastside Fantasy Football on both of those platforms. We really appreciate everybody listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the cool stuff that all the cool kids say that do podcasts and YouTube videos. Make sure you're doing that for us.
Give us a follow, share it with your friends.
Yeah, do a little bit of everything. We really appreciate everybody listening. We've really enjoyed doing this. Thank you to Lur for joining, making your picks, all your Lurington insight. We really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm happy to be here, and I love the podcast. Keep doing what you're doing, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks to Lur. Thanks to Joe Briner. Thanks to myself for having a great episode. We got week 2 action Sunday coming up.
Yes, sir.
Big stuff. We'll be back on Tuesday. This was the Eastside Fantasy Football Podcast. And all I got to say is, Jalen Waddle, let's go. Outscore Tyree.
Let's go, Jalen Waddle. I'm rooting for you, buddy.